We're here with Paul Hanford.
Hello.
Thank you for coming and seeing us. Here in Berlin, grey Berlin today, unfortunately, but yeah, we're gonna talk about music and what you're being involved in Berlin, and maybe your background and etc. I would say, yeah, let's start with that. Let's say how these 10 years, like what was the tipping moment of the starting of these 10 years as well, I mean, I would say an opinion leader, musician, DJ, producer, event host, and etc. What was the beginning?
For me,
Yeah,
of what I'm doing.
yeah. I mean, like what in London has sparked you into it?
You mean in terms of my career? Or,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know really when that started. I mean, I don't know, because I was in a band like 20 years ago, and that was probably the thing that sort of was my first sort of experience of making kind of a career, I guess.
So
Out
it
of
wasn't
doing
like
that.
a tipping point. It was like
No, it was always that way. I think it's always comes out of an incapacity to do anything else, really.
I heard this before.
Yeah, like it's more like you kind of, sort of, for whatever reason. I think I'm a snowflake. You know, there's that definition of the word snowflake, and it's meant to be someone
I
that's.
cannot be even a waiter. So
Yeah,
this
exactly.
must
I
work.
have been a waiter, but I've been a terrible waiter. I quite enjoyed it, but yeah. So I think it's just always been like, for me, it was like the first thing was maybe making mixtapes as a kid, like holding a tape recorder to a TV, like when Top of the Pops was on, and kind of pressing play and then editing it. And so it's always just been sort of, you just find a way to kind of work with what I'm interested in, really.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I remember starting myself. Like, there wasn't ever a tipping moment, but there was like an innate propensity towards music.
Yeah.
You know, like cassettes and things. Like I have no, my parents are no musician and everything, but I do understand that sort of like somehow it rings a bell and you're always magnetized by it.
I mean, I think for me as well, it's similar. Like I didn't come from a massively musical family.
Yeah.
You know, there's sort of, you know, I think like most families, there were like sort of elements of creativity going on, but also elements of lots of other things, and kind of like elements of suburbia and all of these different things. And but I think, you know, music, I think through like pop music really spoke to me, you know, and I think like for most people, and it's so I think I kind of came with it initially from the point of view of being a fan,
Right.
really, rather than like a sort of studied musician. And I think that that's probably the kind of common connection to what I do now, is that I'm interested in the idea of how music is important to people, just in terms of their lives. I'm not so much in terms of like how well they play music, or
Not the technical
it's not
side,
about
more
a
the
club.
cultural side.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not a club
Yes.
of skill. It's about how everyone feels
I
music.
totally agree on that. Yes, it's more like the role of it within the
Yeah.
cultural system, and how fundamental it is for it to be there.
Yeah,
As
totally.
Almost like I see it almost as a glue or like a cement between bricks.